I am not the one who will be punishing him. The parole board will not release him after seeing this video.
Oh, I know what you're thinking, Miss Walters. I'm not erasing everyone's memories, not again.
That's not what I was thinking. That is highly unethical.
Yeah, it's also very messy, believe me.
Okay.
We'll send him to the mirror dimension.
I don't know what that is, but no.
Shadow dimension?
Hey, I'm Derek.
And I'm Noah. And you're listening to A Bite of,
where we take our current favorite pop culture obsession and enjoy it one nibble at a time.
Yum, 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 episode 3 of She-Hulk.
Shulky.
Hashtag
episode 3.
We're not halfway yet.
We won't be halfway. Well, do we ever figure out if it's 8 or 9 episodes?
That's to be determined.
TBD.
I'm sure we should know this, but it's like 8 or 9. 8 or 9. I believe 9.
8 or 9.
8 or 9. But not halfway 8.
What?
Oh my God.
Not halfway 8.
Not halfway 8 yet. It's not.
It's not.
Episode 3.
Why was 6 afraid of 7?
It's 7, 8, 9. And why can I say the word? Because I can't speak. Yay!
That's perfect for podcast format.
Speaking of.
Oh, nailed it.
Make sure you follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter at @BiteOfPod. You can find all those links on abiteofpod.com. We also have a Patreon. New Patreon episode coming out maybe tomorrow, the same day that this one drops. We'll see. Hectic week. But bonus episodes, discounts on merch, free stuff. Like the show, you can support it there. Also, reviews. Last one, I'll say, housekeeping-wise, send those stars on Spotify or wherever they allow you to do that and leave a little review, because that's how people find our podcast.
Yay. And on a personal note, thank you all so much for allowing us to release this episode a little later than we usually do. I know you guys are like, they always have an excuse, but this one feels legitimate.
All of them have been legitimate.
No, they have.
We've literally, because what was it? A gas leak, right? We recorded our Black Widow episode in a hotel because there was a gas leak in the house.
Yep.
So we, if we can, we usually
gas
do it.
leak, purchasing homes and moving, and then our one of our pups needed emergency surgery. So we've had a hectic little weekend here. Happy Labor Day weekend.
Yeah, we've had this last month has been emotionally, financially, and time draining.
Yeah.
But hopefully we're on the upswing.
Yes, hopefully, because there's nobody. What is it from Bridesmaids? Her mom says to her, because there's nowhere else to go. What up? Right?
True.
So, yes, upswing, please, for this fall.
Yes.
Sweater weather will be upon us, and hopefully things will just calm down, and we'll be able to give you these episodes in a timely fashion as we promised.
Hey, out of 2 years, 99% of the time we always do. So thank you for being patient. Also, I did want to shout out one of our amazing OG supporters, listeners, Kara. You sent a very lovely gift for Lola.
And Def Steph, too.
Yeah.
So both.
Yeah.
When that arrived, I almost started crying.
Yeah.
Because, like Noah said, we're so emotionally drained right now. And just that really sweet touch of kindness for our Lola girl was beautiful.
Yeah, it was really sweet. Also, the cookies look amazing. They sent dog treats, and they're just so sweet. Get well soon, little hearts, everything.
Little Band-Aids.
Yeah.
Oh, so cute.
Yeah, there'll be a video posted with Lola reacting to those. So
yeah.
You'll get to see our little one-eyed girl in a little bit.
Our angel. So thank you all so much.
Yes. So from here on out, so we're done with the personal stuff and excuses, so we can talk about the most controversial episord of any MCU show.
Oh my gosh. I can't believe it.
From here on out, it's nothing but twerking and spoilers.
Yes. But of course, we have to take a look back before we get into the twerking universe.
Yeah, spoilers of last week's episode. Guys, it's been a minute. Sorry.
All right, so let's take a look back at She-Hulk Attorney at Law Episode 2, Superhuman Law. Following her Titania crashed court case, Jennifer has been dubbed She-Hulk and makes her way to a bar to celebrate. She enjoys a few quick drinks as the Green Giantess, but her boss kills her buzz and fires her.
Womp womp.
Womp womp. She's then summoned to a family dinner where aunts, uncles, and cousins really grind her green gears. As she drowns her sorrows at another bar, Holloway approaches and offers her a job in their new superhuman law division. On her first day, she is told she must be in She-Hulk form at all times while working there. Oh, and Emil Blonsky is her first client. Uh-oh. After meeting with the now centered Abomination, she agrees to take his case. Unfortunately for her, as soon as she makes this decision, footage is uncovered of him broken out of jail participating in an underground fight club.
Yeah.
End of episode.
Whoa, 1 year ago, not today, but this weekend, Shang-Chi came out. So look at that.
Kevin Feige said, I know what I'm doing.
We had to wait a whole year to see where he's been and what Emil's been up to.
Yeah, because when we, it's like watching Shang-Chi, it's like, hey, that was Abomination. And then nothing else was told.
Then he goes away.
Yeah, just right back to jail.
All right, so spoilers ahead for episode 3 of She-Hulk. If you haven't watched it, go watch it, and then come back and listen to us, and we can talk about it.
So now let us officially take a bite of She-Hulk Attorney at Law episode 3, The People versus Emil Blonsky.
Sometimes I feel like you go into a weird broadcaster voice, and I love it.
Well, that felt like I was trying to do the People's Court.
Oh, I never watched that kind of stuff.
The only reason I watched The People's Court is because my grandmother loved it.
Well, that's
so we'd
sweet.
watch it together.
That's sweet.
Yeah.
That is a very that generation show.
Also because that generation is home when those shows are on.
Yeah, that's very
The rest of us fools are working.
It's all for those retired folks there.
Absolutely.
So this episode really, it picks up right after the last one, which is interesting because this show, I'm loving it so far. But I feel like from the first episode to these episodes, it does feel different.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like that was on purpose. So it's very sitcom-y. The format is sitcom, which is fine. That's what we were promised. The first episode didn't feel like that. It felt very much like, oh, we've seen this before. This is an MCU show. And now it's very sitcom, which is fine. But I think it's I'm just trying to adjust my gears a little bit.
Sure. Yeah, I see what you're saying. The first episode was the origin.
Yeah.
The second episode was the bridge to this now sort of new sitcom feeling. While watching this episode in particular, I feel like we brought up Ally McBeal and stuff like that, but this felt very Legally Blonde to me.
Yeah, I think they're mixing a bunch of stuff, which is fine.
It felt like silly surprise witnesses, random people coming through, crazy dating cases, superstars in the courtroom.
I feel like this is the only, even 3 episodes in, this is the only MCU show, aside from What If, that I feel like could literally have 20 seasons. Because they can just keep bringing in people from the movies and other shows.
Absolutely. And who knows where this will go as far as, intermingling her in the greater MCU universe. But right now, this is very much, living in her as She-Hulk in her law career.
Yeah.
And that's her storyline right now.
Which is it's very much like the comics. There are a few runs where, it's kind of the reverse, where her She-Hulkness is more the forefront, and then the law stuff is, very far few
secondary.
in between.
Yeah,
but there's a lot of runs where that's kind of how it is. It's just her daily life, and then getting interrupted by whatever mayhem's happening.
Well, that's sort of the newest Rainbow Rowell run,
right?
Is very much living in her day-to-day life. It's more like slice of life than action adventure.
Because it took so long in the comics for her. There was a big kind of a few years where she was on the Avengers. She got really big. She looked like the Hulk and all this stuff. She was dating a bunch of people. A lot of stuff happened, and she was prevalent in the Avengers run, which she still is. But the law stuff took a big backseat.
Yeah.
So it was nice that when Rainbow Rowell took over, it kind of brought that back. And also the first issue is her going back into doing law again, but then trying to find a job. So it reflects the series quite a bit. That's why I highly recommend it.
And, and I think this sort of storyline really lends itself well to an episodic format.
Right.
Versus a movie format. In the movies, you have to get to the climax. You have to have the big bad. Whereas here we can sort of live with the character, and sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. And I feel like with She-Hulk so far, it feels like it's working.
Yeah, this is one of the fewer shows. I felt like Falcon and Winter Soldier was very much like a movie split up into episodes.
Yeah.
Take the production and the stuff they had to delete out of it. of Falcon and Winter Soldier, it did feel like that. And I felt like Loki kind of felt that way as well. But now it's feeling like Miss Marvel and She-Hulk really feel like these are TV shows.
Absolutely.
Written for TV shows.
I agree with that. Like, I feel like Moon Knight could have been a movie instead. Almost.
It could have, yeah, because
Right?
it was a very long origin, but I did like that we got to see how his DID really works and how that is a big part of the character. So it's like the upside is like we get to spend more time, but the downside with that kind of stuff is it does feel a little
Drawn
elongated.
out.
Yeah, but I'm very much liking it. So this episode really picks up after Emil breaks out of prison. It's all over the news and everything. And she goes directly to confront him, which is very smart as the person that's representing them.
And I love her sort of like, the last time we saw her going to this like maximum security damage control prison, she was like, what's this? What's that? She's getting through the gates. She knows the lasers are going to retract. Like she's means business now.
Yeah, exactly. Emil immediately names Wong as the person that breaks him out. So that's how our Wong gets into the show, which I feel like once we saw that he was going to be in the show and Abomination, it was kind of easy to connect those dots.
Yeah.
But it is fun to be like, he's like, no, I mean, this guy like forced me to do it, but I came back. Like, I'm here. Hi, I'm sitting here.
And I also like his sort of, I don't know, this seems like a very sort of villainous thing to do of choosing their words very wisely. She's like, you said that you can't turn into the Abomination anymore. And he says, no. I said I choose to not turn into Abomination
Which is
anymore.
fair.
Yes, but it's very much like, no, I said what I said and I meant what I said, but you misconstrued it and wanted to believe the way you wanted to believe it.
Yeah, he's still on my radar to watch out. I feel like after this episode, I'm kind of leaning more towards maybe he does actually want to be good, but it might be one of those situations where somebody might manipulate him down the road because he kind of was already manipulated.
Yeah, well, one of the things that I was thinking is like, why was he not able to control Abomination earlier, in the Hulk movie?
It's just, well, one, he got a cocktail of super soldier serum and the Hulk juice.
Right.
But also it kind of mirrors Bruce a little bit where they just have that issue with controlling that side. But as we see with as far as the MCU mythos goes, that it can be controlled over time, except for Jen, because she's just a badass.
Well, right. Well, apparently between Abomination and Hulk, the cure-all for all rage is meditation.
Yeah, I mean,
and being centered in oneself.
Centering, yeah, I mean, understanding your emotions and how to do it.
For jackass men, of course.
Well,
for Jen, she's like, well, I control my rage every single day of my life, whether I'm in Hulk form or not.
Fair. I mean, it's been her origin. If you listen to our Before You Watch She-Hulk.
Did you listen to it?
It's been there since her origin. So it's not like, oh, they just did this to blah, blah, blah. No, it's always just how it's been. She's just always been able to do it. She can literally do court cases, long, drawn out, months worth of court cases as She-Hulk. So
yeah. Once she got those spandex lawyer pantsuits on order, she's ready to go.
Yeah. I mean, I guess it is the same one. So it is spandex. It does look a little loose when she is She-Hulk. So I'm like, I'm waiting for it to get a little better.
Yeah. The fit isn't great in the CGI, but one of the things that I noticed, I don't know if it was in this episode, but definitely in the last one, like it fits her like a suit with a button down when she's Jen, but when she's She-Hulk, the button down is always open, revealing a cami underneath, a camisole.
Yeah.
So there is some shifting of the fabrics. They can't always remain
That's
buttoned.
That's true.
But she's always workplace appropriate.
We have to talk about, so this is Jen's first interaction, or pretty much reference to Wong. So Nikki, as the paralegal, she does all the research and everything for the lawyers.
She does more than research, baby.
She looks up Wong. There's a profile, some type of profile on some type of social. I mean, it seems like a LinkedIn mixed with like maybe Facebook, because there's connections and all that stuff. And his LinkedIn is amazing because he is the Sorcerer Supreme now. He was also the librarian for about 11 years.
Of course.
And then he was also a sales associate at Target in Carmitage, which I'm very surprised that there's a Target.
Okay, but then I feel like this, yes, well, I think that's number one. I'm surprised that there's a Target, but I think this leads back to our conversation about whether or not Avengers get paid. Granted, he's not an Avenger, but still, he's a superhero and he's a Sorcerer Supreme, but he still has to hold down a part-time job in order to
No, he doesn't
fund
do that
the
anymore.
library.
He did. Oh, well, yeah, that's true. He doesn't do the Target anymore. But I mean, this just shows that retail people, service people are the best of everybody because Wong's amazing and he put in that work. And now he's Sorcerer Supreme.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
I worked at a bookstore for many years.
He
and
hustled.
Yeah. I'm still waiting for my superpowers, but it's going to happen.
Fingers crossed, baby.
If anything, it told me that it would happen. But so they need to get Wong for questioning. What better way to catch somebody's attention than the thirst trap? And not any thirst trap, but with books, because Nikki saw he was a librarian, so she poses with a bunch of books. It is online. They literally put the thirst trap that she sent Wong online. It is so good. I love this show. I love how much it is almost like in a weird way breaking the fourth wall with using social media in this way, but it's so much fun. This is the best social media that they've ever done.
Yeah, I was thinking, I was like, why would Wong have social media? But it's kind of, I feel like in this world, they're even though they're heroes, they're also celebrities. Right. And so you got to get that blue check mark. It's got to be you. So he's got to have a profile on something. But in this world, it's Friendster still.
No, absolutely not. No. But so we do know that does catch his attention. There is a small fourth wall break in this episode where she talks to us and says, this isn't going to be like cameo every week type deal. But so far it has been.
Mm-hmm.
So I think she's lying.
Yeah. So is it the last of the cameos or is it just all cameos?
I 100% think that there's going to be more. Has to. I mean, we know Daredevil's coming.
Oh, you're right. Yeah,
so
you're right.
Then those are just the ones that they showed us. I feel like there's definitely got to be more because only 3 episodes in, there's been a lot.
Okay, so out of our MCU mainstays, who do you think is going to be who would make sense as like a surprise cameo that they haven't shown us yet?
It's hard now with this phase because it's like we generally know what time it takes place.
But at this point, who is still in this universe?
Right.
Who is alive?
Because I would say because of where she's at, Scott Lang, Ant-Man would make sense.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, that's kind of I'm hoping because we also had Quantumania coming up. So it's like, it almost makes sense that if he showed up somehow to like, I don't know, set something up. Yeah.
For me, I keep thinking like Loki or Sylvie would need defending in a superhuman law case.
They'd have to get out of the TVA first.
Well, we don't know where Sylvie, I guess, yeah. I mean,
or what time that takes place.
Right. Yeah. I don't know. So Sylvie did that big thing at the end, but does anybody know she did the big thing at the end yet?
I guess season 2. I'll have to
Wanda.
find out.
She needs to defend Wanda.
Oh, God. Yeah, good luck. Jen's going to be like, no.
Yeah, this case, I'm not going to win.
She did what to how many universes? No, thank you.
They're like, wait, which case do you want to take? Do you want to take the Westview case, or do you want to take the kidnapping case, or do you want to take the murder case?
She killed how many?
At Carmitage. Yeah.
No, thank you.
Oh, or that murder case of the Illuminati. You're right.
So this episode is kind of split into 2 different stories. There's story A and story B. So there's the Emil case, and then there's the fucking Dennis the Menace case.
Dennis.
Which is great. We find out Dennis needs representation. This is probably one of the greatest things the MCU has done. Needs representation because he's been dating Megan the Stallion.
The Stallion.
Grammy-winning icon.
Legendary judge. Best friend.
But it turns out
Jamil.
It's not. It's Runa, a shapeshifter, light elf from New Asgard.
Yes.
Like what? I know. They did name drop her name so much in this episode that if she didn't show up, it'd be very disappointing.
I think Runa has been in all 3 of these episodes. We just didn't know.
She was Titania.
Exactly. Yes.
Well, now we have to watch out for her.
Well, yeah, I don't know. She's shifty. She said, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to travel from New Asgard in Europe to LA. I'm going to trick some people.
Dennis, of all people?
She said, these Prius payments, too much. I need to find an idiot to pay them off.
He's such a douche. I hate him.
You know, just when we thought we saw the last of Dennis.
I was hoping he would kind of be like there and gone, but no, apparently he's going to be in it for a while.
They love Dennis.
So they called Jen in to represent him because it does involve an enhanced human or people with powers.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, no, not her. How about Pug? because he looks like he's a good lawyer. I'm like, oh, it's because he's a man.
Because he's a dude.
That's fine. But we do see Mallory. She makes her first appearance, very short appearance, but she's there. I kind of did like it because it was like she's around,
Yeah.
but like we don't need to know about her.
She
really.
said, "Do you love this asymmetric bob?" I said, "Yes, I do." She said, "Do you like this black and white dress?" I said, "Yes, I do." She said, "Do you want me to sing?" I said, "Yes." She said, "No, I gotta go."
Yeah, she's like, absolutely not. But she is in the superhuman law department division. Is it division? Or
Division.
department? Okay, that makes more sense. She is like Titania for She-Hulk, but on the law side. She's just her rival that way.
I see.
I do like her though. She's very like, they go head to head quite a bit.
Oh, interesting. So that means in our future, we're going to probably have two superhuman law division lawyers against each other in the courtroom, both defending superhuman law hero villains.
Yeah, you had a thought.
Clients.
And then
I made it there.
and then
Okay,
it
no, wait.
slowed.
I got it. They're going to be going head to head in a case.
There-
Right?
Sure. Maybe she brings a case against her
Oh.
because she is superhuman herself. So isn't she biased?
So then does Jen have to defend herself, or is that where Daredevil comes in to defend Jen?
Or why is Daredevil there in the first place?
He's a Jen defender. Jen defender.
He's a Jen defender.
Jen defender.
Yeah. So Wong decides to portal himself straight to Jen, and they have a little conversation here. And I love that he thought he was going to talk to her and be done with it. He's like, I needed a good opponent to train to be Sorcerer Supreme. Like, what's the big deal? He went back.
Yeah.
Okay, bye.
I mean, in Wong's world, this is such small scale nonsense.
It really is.
You know? He's
Yeah.
like, wait, what? Huh? Listen, I'm literally dealing with world ending things right now.
Yep.
He's like, you're lucky I made my little light spiral and came here at all.
He mentions erasing everybody's memory again, but he won't do it because it's too messy. That's a direct call to No Way Home, as we all know.
Petey Parky.
Try to erase people's memories, and then in the end, they did erase people's memories, but of Peter.
Zendaya doesn't remember him.
Speaking of that, I just want to say, real quick, kind of
Okay.
side note. So there's a more fun version going out into theaters. I probably won't go see it. There's like 11 minutes of new footage. I would like to go see it, but during like COVID times and
Of an
monkeypox-
already 2 hour and 45-minute
yes,
movie?
so it's like all like the extended cut or whatever. But there is a part, just to make it more sad, that when Peter and MJ are talking about, you know, erasing memories, blah, blah, they have to
Mhm.
do that. She like asks him if they both can be like, if they can be erased together.
Aw.
Like nobody else remembers but them two. So sad. I don't know why they cut that, but you know, figured I'd give you that little tidbit. Right
they said
there.
it's too sad already.
Yeah, but it, again, that just proves the point that it's a little messy and probably shouldn't be messing with the whole Minds universe. Like,
yeah. And I guess that would set a bad precedent to all law cases where it's like, well, we'll just erase all the memories again. It's fine.
Exactly. She did say it's unethical, so Jen has her standards. So good for her.
Hello.
So like I said, episode split up into A, B story. We'll talk about Blonsky. So we'll talk about B story.
Yeah, that's safe.
Yeah.
I was going to make it more confusing and say the A story was the Blonsky story, but you're right.
You're
We'll call
welcome.
it the Blonsky story.
Mhm. So his trial is right in his cell room, the room outside of his cell, because it does come down. I don't know. Where is he when it comes down?
All right, I have a theory.
Is it on a Ferris wheel?
It's
He
not
just-
a Ferris wheel. Everything is shaped like the bullet chamber of a revolver.
No.
And so everything can spin and then they can be dropped into this parole room or whenever there's a meeting.
Who else is in there?
Oh,
They literally couldn't have it just for them. And also the Avengers broke out during the Civil War stuff. So
wait, listen, these pots can go anywhere. It's like a pop and pot. You know what this prison, jail, this place,
it's a prison.
this prison is basically a gumball machine.
Yeah.
So you put a quarter in
No.
and someone pops out.
That's not.
But that's how they roll it.
Yeah.
They're like, just give it a little twist and look who comes out. It's Blonsky.
So.
And this place also, they can
Oh my
make
God.
they can make videos appear in any cell that they want.
Yeah, it's the MCU. Tony set a precedent. So holographic videos need to be everywhere at all times.
The thing that nobody's saying, though, is that this is all run by an older version of Jarvis. So at some point, it will become Ultron again and release everyone.
Well, White Vision is out there, so
Oh,
we'll
he's
see.
coming. He's like, am I a ship? I don't know.
Oh
I'm going to
my God.
release all these people.
Every time Vision is brought up.
No, only White Vision.
Okay.
He's a philosophical liquor.
So, in this trial, we have to talk about it.
Oh, sorry.
So
The episode. I
Yes.
forgot.
We finally see the soulmates. His midsummer garb wearing 7 soulmates are there to view this trial. Last episode we talked about who are they? What could it be? Could it be the support group that he's in? I don't know. No, it's just literal people.
Pen pal.
Yeah. In jail. There's a program where and they're going to financially support his new business. So that's cool.
I mean,
Scammed.
yeah, I mean, they're saying apparently in this parole board hearing, there is notice of him owning land and he's going to own a meditation retreat. I'm sorry, with the way these soulmates are dressed, it's feeling very much like it's going to be a cult.
Midsummer. I mean, it's culty.
Oh, you mean Midsommar?
Midsummer. Yeah.
Midsommar?
No.
A24's hit Midsommar.
Speaking of Florence Pugh,
Preach.
Yelena was also in that one.
That's very true.
It all connects.
Hello.
It's a very good movie. I really enjoy that movie. So Ari Aster is amazing as a director. So go watch that if you have not. Derek refuses, but it's fine.
Listen, there's a bear in it. That's all I'm saying.
Well, there's a guy in the bear.
R.I.P. Spoiler.
But so this trial, so we have the women, that's fine. They're kind of more there for a gag and just to be like, there are the 7 soulmates. A lot of the staff does go up to be a witness for Emil, pretty much saying that he's done this, he's great, he's reformed. They don't make toilet wine, they make toilet kombucha.
Healthy.
Great.
Fermented.
Not great for the plumbing, I'm sure, but sure, it's fine.
Live bacteria.
I like on her sheet of the witnesses, it has Wong in quotes because I feel like she doesn't think that this is his actual name because it's just Wong.
He's Cher. He is Cher.
He is. I mean, it's Wong.
He's Wong.
We're in the cinematic Wong universe.
Yeah.
That's what we're in right now.
You know who else I realized is also a Cher? This has nothing to do with anything. I just realized this today. Adele. Adele is Adele.
Well, her last name's Adkins.
Who knows that? Only you.
Most people.
No, but you know what I mean?
Yeah, she goes, but that's her stage name and
it's
her real
like
name.
Cher, Madonna, Beyonce, Adele.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
What's Cher's last name?
Wong. Cher's last name is, I don't know. At some point, maybe it was Bono because she was married to Sonny Bono.
Cher Bono. I don't like it.
I think it's like very Italian, kind of like how Madonna has a very Italian last name.
Fettuccine.
Alfredo.
So,
I got your pepe.
So skipping out a little bit,
Oh,
Wong does testify as the main witness. Jen tries to I don't know, bide time a little bit. She has a lot of witnesses, I will say, for this one dude, but none of the people that he actually hurt. Just gonna put that out there.
Oh. Well, number one person he hurt, the Hulk, was like, yeah, it's fine.
Yeah,
I'm
he
on
already
a
forgave him.
spaceship.
Yeah.
I gotta go.
So after Wong's testimony, it seems like the board is going to be in favor of granting parole for Emil. And then he's like, oh, by the way, I can change. It's fine. I could change this whole time. They all freak out. I think
Screaming.
unreasonably freak out.
Screaming.
The dude's like, hey, guys, sounding like Taika Waititi. It's okay, guys.
Totally.
It's fine. But so we do know that he is able to turn in and out. So he is telling the truth so far. I'm still inclined to believe him that he's trying to do good.
The man took his Crocs off. He wanted to save the Crocs.
He did, the white Crocs.
The white Crocs came
Yeah.
off. He's serious.
They do turn on Wong just really quickly in this parole board hearing because they're like, oh, by the way, you broke him out. So you did a crime. Just so you know, he's like, okay, thanks for the time. Bye.
He said, gotta go.
Almost every time he's in something, he always pieces out. He's just bye.
He's very, very busy.
Very busy. He's training all of those people
Hello.
to be sorcerers.
At this point in time, he might. Is she there?
Who?
But,
What?
I forgot her name. Oh no. Her.
Context clues.
Her. the Lego figure that you have right there.
America Chavez?
Yes.
You forgot her name?
I'm sorry. I was doing so well this episode. Were you proud of me before when I remembered that they were called the Illuminati? I was proud of me.
Oh, I didn't notice.
I was like, Derek, you're killing it. You remembered all the names, and then I couldn't remember America Chavez. Why did I even bring it up? Forget it. Anyway. Yes, he's very busy training people.
As a little side note, during this episode, she goes in and out of the Department of Damage Control's Supermax prison, and there's a bunch of reporters because she's the hot topic. She's defending Abomination, but she's also She-Hulk, so there's a lot surrounding her. They ask her a lot of questions, and particularly one of the reporters say, some people say that you got your powers from a mafia hit gone wrong, which is accurate in the comics.
Did you listen to our Before You Watch?
I wanted to make sure I wrote that down so I could remind you to listen to Before You Watch She-Hulk.
She got shot.
She did, and
she got shot.
They were fended off by a garden hose. Thanks, Bruce.
Listen, he saw them use a hose once.
Stop.
For crowd control.
Oh my God.
Okay, and he told us this in the comic too.
So at the end of Blonsky's case, he is granted parole, but he can indefinitely never turn into Abomination ever again. And also he has to wear an inhibitor. I want to know where this inhibitor is coming from because Bruce said they're too hard to make and he couldn't make one for her.
I had the same exact thought.
That's not good if they have inhibitors running around.
Well, and this sort of line of thinking was given to her from the A storyline that we'll get to shortly from Dennis, of all people.
Right.
And he basically makes a note of wishing that we could control people's powers so they didn't do this again.
Not good.
It sounds very Sentinel program.
That's what I'm saying.
It sounds very getting rid of people with powers.
Back to my theory from Miss Marvel, I'm getting very, this is not good. They're going to want to start neutralizing people with powers, locking them up. It's not good. Department of Damage Control will turn into the Sentinel program. I guarantee it. I don't like it. It's not good. It's also just not a good look. I mean, I think for this purposes, because Blonsky seemed like he was totally fine with it. He's like, yeah, okay, fine. I feel like he knows that he can just break out of it, so it's not really that big of a deal.
Yeah.
But it's not good. I think the precedent that it's setting isn't good, and I feel like it is going to be a theme, at least for She-Hulk.
And it's sort of interesting, though, because, right, She-Hulk herself now is someone with powers. She is a superhuman law division, superhuman lawyer. And so I feel like she's only just recently gotten her powers, so she might not really be cognizant of what a decision like this can do.
Yeah, I feel like it will bite her in the green butt sooner rather than later.
Yeah, it feels very like it could be Civil War 2 again or something.
Oh my God, there is a Civil War 2, and I swear if they do that one, I don't want it.
Imagine everybody's like, what's it going to be, Secret Wars? And they're like, guess what? Civil War 2.
No, thank you. No, thank you. But that is actually, I don't think you read Civil War 2, and that's kind of close to the plot of Civil War 2, so...
I read her entry in the Marvel Encyclopedia that we have, and they mention Civil War 2.
Well, there you go. Shall we get on to story A?
Let's get into some Runa Light Elf stuff.
Okay. Dennis's the Menace's case. So he is trying to get damages from Runa. Of what? What was it? $170,000?
$5,000.
I mean, like, that's a lot, but like also like if you were able to freely give that away, like shut up.
Well, when he's having his like first sort of conversation with Pug's like, wow, that is an entire home in some areas of the country.
It is.
And Dennis is like, yeah, right.
No, it is.
He's completely,
he's the worst.
He's the worst.
He's the worst. In this
frat bro,
in this
F-boy
episode, there are parts where it shows like people commenting about She-Hulk, like, oh, why do they all have to be female? There's a Me Too movement, all that stuff. He is literally like the embodiment of that.
Which is also the reflection of what is actually happening in the discourse around She-Hulk.
Yeah, I don't like it. It's too real. But they literally pulled, before the show was even out and they announced it, those are actual quotes about people saying stuff about She-Hulk. It's
I mean, it's very frustrating though, because I don't understand. She-Hulk has been around for like 40 years. So what do you want? You want them to never introduce a female character in the MCU? It's the dumbest thing ever.
They do, but that's the funny thing. It's like they want She-Hulk, but they don't want her to be her character, which is better at being Hulk than Bruce. I mean, it's a fact. I mean, they're not going to not do that because we wouldn't have this show. Like, if it went in the same trajectory as Bruce did, we'd have to deal with her being, like, hulking out and her in, like, a bunker somewhere or something.
Been there,
like,
done that.
Yeah, it's not fun. Who wants to see that? Also, she likes to dance. She likes to have fun.
Let her get her groove on.
Yeah. So Dennis's case.
Oh, yeah.
Runa starts trying to appeal to the court with this Thor's speech, or Heimdall said it in Thor, I believe, the Dark World. Also in Ragnarok, Odin said the same thing, like, Asgard's not a place, that blah, 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 blah. She tries to say that, which I thought was hilarious because she's like, I'm going to use this thing that apparently everybody knows is a speech that was...
The judge knew right away. He was like, no. No Thor-spirational speeches are allowed.
I don't know. How did they know? Ant-Man was not around during that, so it could not be on Little Me, Big Me podcast.
Not the podcast, not the pod.
So, no idea. Anyway, it was a very small thing, but I thought it was hilarious.
YouTubers.
Pug really shines in this episode as more of a fleshed out character, I will say. He has more lines, one. It shows that he can represent people. So it's not, I wasn't sure who he would be in the show because he did seem kind of assistant-like.
Well, he's like right? He's the opposite of Dennis.
The complete opposite.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He tells you where to poop.
He's very sweet in the comics. He's there for Jen quite a bit. There was like some little romantic thing in the comics.
I could see that happening.
Pug and Jen, but it's more he's a good friend to her and also works at the law firm. But yeah. I like him so far. He's kind of growing on me. At first, I was like, oh, okay, he's just going to be like a side whatever. But I'm like, oh, no, he's kind of nice.
He's on the right side of the law, some might say.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
In this court case, who other than Meg Thee Stallion is in the audience? This short 2-second clip of her is so funny. I love it. Do you know how they got her on the show?
Tell me the story.
They wanted to have somebody that was like recognizable, big or whatever for this particular like gag and part of the story, but they weren't sure who. Titania is on the show, Jamila Jamil, who knew Meg Thee Stallion from being a legendary. And she immediately went to them and was like, why not just do Meg Thee Stallion? And they're like, can you actually get her? And she just boop, 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 got her. And so that's how she got in the show.
It's so good.
I love that. I love that Jamila Jamil has not been in the show that much. It's only 3 episodes in, but she's such a supporter of the show on Instagram, on social media, all the social medias, and just all the stuff she did for the show outside of it. I mean, Jamila Jamil's amazing.
Yeah, it's so funny because if you've only known Jamila Jamil as her character from The Good Place,
yeah,
the character is a crappy character when you first meet them. And
isn't that how it always is, though? Like, the nicest and coolest people always play the worst people. I mean, her character arc in the show gets better, but she, for a while, was the worst.
Exactly. Tahani.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just came to my brain.
God.
But it's just, I love sort of seeing who Jamila Jamil is outside of that role and seeing her in other things now. I mean, I loved her in Legendary. I can't wait to see more of Titania in this. She just seems like an all-around cool human.
Yeah, I want to see.
Appreciate that.
I really want to see more than one line from her soon.
Yeah,
because she's there, and I want to know why she came in the courtroom. I want to know more.
With all these like talking head things they've done in the last 2 episodes of like these newscasts and stuff like that. Like, I wish that there was Titania's take.
Oh, it's probably on social media somewhere. We just haven't gotten to it.
It's got to be, right?
Nikki's gonna find it.
Bring it in. Bring it. Yeah, Nikki is like the cool paralegal who knows the internet.
Yeah. But so the short little cameo of Megan Thee Stallion, it's so good.
The person sitting next to her when she goes, starts laughing when she does it. I mean, it's so good.
She has a fan. Like, I mean, also the suit is amazing.
Pink.
Yeah.
Pink.
Very Legally Blonde.
Hello.
Yep.
Red, white, and blonde.
Mm-hmm. So the outcome of this case, essentially, Jen ends up taking the stand because Pug is like, oh, wait, like, you can testify to pretty much say how self-absorbed, self-centered, disgusting Dennis is, that he would actually think
Yes.
him, this weird nugget of a person, would have a chance with Grammy-winning the icon Megan Thee Stallion. So she does. She pretty much roasts him, which she was happily.
It's like he's delusional,
Yeah.
people. Delusional.
But then he wins the case. And also because Runa impersonated a judge, she tried this again multiple times. She also gets 60 days
60
in prison.
days, yeah.
So he gets damages, and also she has to go to jail. So
2 months ain't a long time. I think Runa's going to be back out in the world pulling her mischief.
I hate that Dennis calls his office the Denisphere. But I also love it because that's clever.
Yeah.
But I hate it.
I hate it. Well, he's the worst.
It's like if it was cheeky, it would be fine. But it's like he actually believes that he is in a completely different universe than everybody else.
Yeah, and when earlier in this episode, when Runa comes into Pug as Dennis, being like, oh, I had to change your heart, blah, blah,
Right.
blah. And he realizes that it's Runa because he gets a call from Dennis. And Dennis says something to the effect, he's like, oh, hey, man, look, I parked in a handicap spot and I blah, blah, blah. He's just the worst.
Yeah, he's awful.
He is the Jean-Ralphio of this series.
Hey,
Actually, he's Mona Lisa.
he's both of them.
He's the worst.
They're both the same person, so it's like you could say either one.
He's a Saperstein.
Yeah, he's definitely a Saperstein, 100%. Ew, gross.
Gross.
So those are the two main court cases. I feel like if they keep going with this format in the show, it's going to be a lot of fun. My only thing is we're so conditioned with progressing the story in almost a linear way with things branching off to connect to the next thing, is that we didn't really get it too much in this, aside from Jen versus the Wrecking Crew.
Yeah, this final scene.
That was the only thing that's really connecting it to what's going to be this overall kind of villain, whatever is the main point of the show, aside from introducing Jen. She gets jumped by a bunch of people. She freaks out before she remembers that she can turn into a superhero.
Oh, BTW, I'm She-Hulk.
Yeah, I love that she was like, oh, wait.
Why am I screaming?
Yeah, and then completely fucks them up. They have very interesting weapons, which I'm kind of curious to see where they got those, where they come from. In the comics, we didn't really talk about these people in the Before You Watch, so you get this little tidbit here exclusively. Literally, they mostly got their powers from a crowbar getting struck by lightning.
Exactly.
And the main person that they fight with is Thor, God of Thunder. These people get their powers from lightning. They really are just they're almost like, what is it? Truck-a-Bro. Is that the name of it?
Trust the bro.
Truck-a-Bro. I feel like I said that in the Hawkeye one,
They
too.
had moving trucks.
But
I'm with you.
But that's how they are. They're kind of like goons for hire almost.
Yeah. And I love their names. So they're the Wrecker, Bulldozer, Pile Driver, and Thunderball.
Yeah. Original guys.
What a crew.
They literally look like construction people with magical weapons. That's really it. But they go after the money. They don't particularly care about politics or their own type of thing. They're just kind of a fun villain to add into the rogues gallery. But the most important thing is they were trying to get her blood.
Yeah.
Now.
Who's funding this?
Exactly. I have some theories.
Oh, tell us, what are your theories?
Can I say, guys, Will you let me say? You can't stop me. So, just kidding. But so, I have a theory. So we know that Abomination's going to be in Thunderbolts. We know Yelena's going to be in Thunderbolts. It's all connecting back to Val, Fontaine, Allegra, DeFontaine.
Julia Louis-Dreyfus as
Yes,
Val
that name.
Allegra DeFontaine.
But she has a boss. Now, if they are somehow connected to this, not many people know about the Hulk blood stuff. Hulk is very careful to destroy the blood, not have the secrets get out. Really, the Avengers are the only ones. There's only one loose thread, aside from Emil.
Tie it up, baby.
Is the leader. So if you remember from the Incredible Hulk movie, the dude at the very end, Samuel Stearns, he gets the cut on the head, the blood leaks into his head, his head gets big.
Yeah.
He is a very big villain for Hulk. He's the opposite of Hulk. Instead of getting big, strong, and muscly, he gets big
Super
brain.
smart.
Exactly. It's the polar opposite of the Hulk gets strong, he gets super smart. It's the only person I can think that would want blood or knows what to do with it.
He looks like Mars Attacks.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, he's very scary looking. I don't know how he's going to be in the MCU, but I'm betting that he is somehow behind it. He would fit the bill to be somebody pulling the strings behind Val, then would extend to the Thunderbolts. Just saying, it's kind of iffy.
So,
Because there's nobody else.
yeah.
Who would want the blood from Jen? Who would know? You know what I mean?
Right, that's very true. So I think the question is, though, as far as the She-Hulk series, this little run-in with the Wrecking Crew, what does this mean for the trajectory of this story? So does that mean that we're going to see more of her not only fighting criminals in the courtroom, but also fighting criminals on the street to try and stop this crew of people?
Maybe. I mean, they brought back the actor, they brought back Emil from the Incredible Hulk movie.
Yeah.
It would make sense to then issue in the other people to tie up that, because for so long, the reason why people kind of forget about the Incredible Hulk movie is because it kind of almost is forgettable. It was before it was really connected.
Right.
Once Iron Man happened, that's where a lot of people were like, yeah, it did start the MCU, but it's like that one just felt so different. All the actors aren't in here anymore, except for Thunderbolt Ross. Sadly, he passed away. But now Emil's back in it, so it just makes sense to bring back Samuel Stearns.
Yeah.
Because I think the Hulks need their villains fleshed out a little bit. They're like really the only ones that don't have their villains. Because Abomination has been locked up for so long.
Yeah, he's been in his circle.
Yeah, it would just
Cylinder.
make sense to kind of introduce them that way. I feel like it might be something to where it's like kind of introduced, handled a tiny bit, but it's going to be a bigger problem later on. That's the connecting.
Yeah, maybe it's more like she digs into it and then warns Bruce what's going on.
If she can reach him,
Hello, well,
he's gone.
cell service.
Yeah. But the Thunderbolts are they're kind of, and I don't like saying this, but they're like Marvel's Suicide Squad. The only difference is they're not forced to do good. They want to do good.
Interesting.
So the Suicide Squad is like, if you don't do this mission, your head's going to explode. This one is like, they kind of come together because they want to do good. So that's why I'm kind of believing Blonsky a little bit. And then I feel like they're going to get manipulated down the road.
Believe in Blonsky.
I mean, there's news that Yelena's going to lead the team, so that's cool.
That would be great.
Yeah. Zemo and her, I want them to meet, and I want to see how that goes.
They're gonna dance
I
together.
hope they dance. Everybody needs to dance.
Wait, what did she eat in Hawkeye, Yelena?
Macaroni
And cheese
with sriracha.
Yes.
Yeah.
They're gonna have macaroni, cheese, sriracha together, and then they're gonna dance the night away.
I hope so.
Me too.
I hope so. So this episode, it seems like they did their like, this is the case of the week. It's setting up a little bit here and there. It was a very quick episode this week, I feel. But we'll see. I want to know, the Wrecking Crew's weapons just seem familiar to me. Not necessarily like Shang-Chi like, but kind of like Wakandan, but a little more mystical. Like, I'm just like, who could give these people these weapons?
The lightning.
That's not how that works.
The lightning gave it to them. Hello.
I feel like they're not going to go that stupid with the origins. Like, if they do, then that's ridiculous.
Well, these guys themselves in this instance didn't necessarily seem like they had powers. They seem more like thugs, honestly, just with cool weapons.
Yeah, it's their weapons are going to be the powered part, because these guys stood no chance against her at all.
Threw them, swatted them like flies.
Yeah, not at all.
No. Oh, speaking of dancing.
Yes.
We got to talk about the final moment.
We have to talk about probably the greatest post-credit scene. And I say that because it just brings so much joy. It's not setting up anything. The show is meant to be fun, not to be serious. Nobody talked about last week's where she's just helping her dad. This one, Meg Thee Stallion. Again, I mentioned her name just as many times as this episode did.
It's now Jen's newest client.
Yeah.
So either Megan Thee Stallion has superhuman powers, or she's probably just suing.
She's getting
Runa.
money for all that. Yeah, all that stuff that probably happened, which makes sense because I feel like their cases are going to be very much in the news. But they're besties, and they have a twerking party.
Love it.
Why not? Amazing.
One of my favorite things is the behind the scenes
Oh
footage
my God.
of
She's on a platform.
she's on a platform in the gray suit, like getting down. It's so good.
Tatiana is in that motion caption suit. Oh, that's hard to say. Twerking. It is her twerking. I want to see a video. That would just bring pure joy to this whole thing. I want to see a video of her
Yes.
doing that.
Agreed. And I want to talk about the double standard people.
Do we have to?
Because when Baron Zemo had his little shoulder shake, in that little nightclub, everybody was making memes about it. They wanted the extended footage, blah, 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 blah. This has one phenomenal twerk scene, which is like a mid-credit scene, so it's just fun. And people are like, why?
Well, it's one of those things, and I'm never the type of person. I'm very like in the weeds in like comic book Twitter. So I see it a lot where people are like, you don't read comics, you don't do this. I don't think that's fair. I don't think that it's fair to be like, you're not a real fan if you haven't read 40 years worth of She-Hulk. That's not true. I will say there is something to people saying She-Hulk wouldn't do that when it's hard to be like, well, in the comics, I can point to at least 7 issues off the top of my head where she literally is dancing. She loves to dance. She has fun. This is in line with her character. So I feel like if you thought it was weird, I would say just kind of sit tight because she is going to be doing that type of stuff.
I mean, like, and even on the cards that that I brought up in our Before You Watch, in one of them, she's getting out of a giant green convertible.
Oh,
She's
yeah.
not afraid to be flashy and have fun.
No, she's not. I feel like it's one of those criticisms that whatever.
People are just looking for things to be brats about just because they want to be brats for any reason.
Yeah. I tend to want, and we do typically on the podcast, like to talk about the positive, and I can't twerk like that, and I loved seeing it in the MCU. Also, that Megan Thee Stallion is in the MCU and is a thing, and also that our beloved Jay Dantest loves her. It's amazing. It's so good.
It just makes sense.
It just means nothing. It's just a fun post-credit scene, and it is what it is, and I love it. And it's really, the show is doing such a good job at fourth wall-ing its viewers because it knows that this is why how people are going to act, so it leans in on it.
Yeah.
Keep doing it. I love it.
Yeah, it's really clever how they're managing to acknowledge what's really going on outside of the show in the real world within the world that this exists in.
Last thing I'll say about it, Star-Lord in the Guardians of the Galaxy movies danced also. I mean, he was distracting Ronan, but he still danced. Like, it was like a weird, like, you can't say that like a show that's coined as a comedy, twerking isn't funny and also amazing and whatever. That's the last I'll say of it. We on this podcast really liked it. Comment below. Let us know if you liked the twerking as well. If you didn't, keep it to yourself.
And also, I've had body yaddy 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 stuck in my head for days, and I'm not mad about it.
There needs to be a cover of it for a bite of. A bite yaddy yaddy yaddy.
Keep going. You're
I can't.
almost there.
It's not going to happen. No. So we're very much enjoying it. Let us know what you thought about not our episode, but the episode of She-Hulk or ours, whatever.
Why not both?
Comment below. We haven't said that this episode.
Oh,
so
comment below.
Yeah.
Are you ready? Ready for more fun? It's a special segment. It's time for Oh Lord.
Yeah.
So as we enter our final days of summer, people may spend their weekend taking a dip in a local pool. There are always rules to follow, but in France, things get very strict or constricting for some.
It's always France.
It's always France. If it's not their fries, it's something else.
What?
French fries.
Oh.
A 1903 law states that men cannot wear baggy shorts or swim trunks in public municipal pools.
Wait.
Instead, they
Nude.
must wear Speedos.
Oh.
Banana hammocks all day.
Oh, okay.
Every day.
When you put it that way, I don't like that.
Body yaddy yaddy yaddy. The reason behind the law, which also bans t-shirts in pools, states that baggy shorts might have been worn all day, and someone wearing them into the pool can contaminate the waters with germs and general dirtiness.
Okay.
I mean, couldn't you be
No.
wearing your Speedo all day under the shorts?
Guys, I don't. This is stupid. Keep going.
Yeah,
it's
so
fine.
therefore, a blanket law was set banning them altogether, solidifying Speedos as the only option. So there is no time spent deeming what is too long or too short for the pool. Local French governments have tried to ease up on the rule, but have been met with backlash. So men, be ready to show it all off. America's ass or not.
Okay. Well, okay. I'll tell you something that's a spoiler.
Hit it.
You
ready for
have
this? Oh.
how many people in a public pool, and what you're worried about is pants that might have been worn for, I don't know, 2, 3, 4 hours before getting in the pool. I agree that you shouldn't be wearing like cargo shorts or anything in the pool because that's heavy. That's going to weigh you down.
Yeah.
But that's what you're worried about. You're not worried about, I don't know, poop, pee, boogers,
Spit, blood.
baby stuff.
Ew, babies.
Like, ew, yeah. Okay. But what happens if you do wear
America's
that?
butt. They kick you out.
Okay.
They literally, like, I read a couple of articles and someone said that they went to a pool in shorts and the lifeguards make you get out of the pool and they tell you to go change.
Okay. I think there needs to be there's much crazier things that need to happen. Why don't you make sure that kid's not running around the pool?
They don't care about that.
Okay. This segment's making me angry this season.
Yada, 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 yada. Yeah, really is lighting your fire,
Oh
man.
my god.
Oh my god. We're going to France.
Because there's things that matter more than that. And that's what they're worried about.
It's the way of the
Okay.
world.
Okay.
Noah's got to go calm down. We got to go.
I need a drink. Goodbye.
Bye. Thanks for listening to A Bite Of. Artwork and editing by our own Noah. Be sure to subscribe and follow us on Instagram at A Bite Of Pod and on Facebook at A Bite Of. If you have questions, recommendations, or just want to say hi, you can email us at abiteofpod@gmail.com. You can find us on all podcast platforms. Please be sure to rate and review to spread the word. Hope you join us next time on A Bite Of. Bye.